Hafide, Lesor Mamai, Faisho. Good morning and welcome to your house session. Welcome to today's session. To all of you in the gallery, the lobby, and in the viewing public on cable and social media, welcome. I now call this first day, second regular session to order. Please let us all rise for a moment of silent prayer. Thank you, everyone. I now recognize the clerk for the roll call.
Representative Fanta,
Present.
Representative Aldon, Representative Aquino,
Present.
Representative Attal, Representative Benavente, Representative Angelo Camozzo,
Present.
Representative Diego Camozzo,
Present.
Representative Joel Camozzo,
Here.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Present.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Present.
Representative Manglonia,
Present.
Representative Vogel,
Present.
Representative Omar,
Here.
Representative Palacios,
Yeah, you get.
Representative Rangmar,
Present.
Representative Sablan,
It's the gap.
Representative Nicolas, Mr. Speaker,
Present.
Representative Yangtamay, Representative Yumo.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 17 members are present and 3 members are absent.
Thank you, clerk. With 17 members present, that's enough for a quorum for today's session. Please let the record reflect that Representatives Denita Yangtamay, Patrick San Nicolas, and BJ Atau are hereby excused for today's session. Now, before we proceed to public comments, I'd like to recognize the floor leader to amend today's agenda. Floor leader.
I'm so sorry. I move to suspend Rule 3, Section 6, so that the House amends its agenda to include unnumbered bills and resolutions and communications not filed with the House Clerk's office 72 hours in advance when a notice for a session was given and posted. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the suspension of Rule 3, Section 6, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fanta,
Yes.
Representative Aldon, Representative Aquino,
Yes.
Representative Benavente, Representative Angelo Camozzo,
Yes.
Representative Diego Camozzo,
Yes.
Representative Joel Camozzo,
Yes.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Yes.
Representative Omar,
Hungan.
Representative Palacios,
Hungan.
Representative Rangmar,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Hungan.
Representative Yumo. Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 17 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all 17 members voting yes, the motion carries. We now move down to item number 2, public comments. The podium is open. You'll be given 5 minutes. Please state your name and the entity you represent. And please try to keep it in the context of today's agenda. Podium is open.
Hello, good morning, Speaker Villagomez and honorable members of the CNMI House of Representatives. My name is Macy B. Tenorio, and I am here as a member of the CNMI State Board of Education. While my colleagues and I have not developed an official statement on House Bill 24-46, I am here to share information about the constitutional calculation of PSS's guaranteed funding and the bill's definition of general revenues. First, I want to express my gratitude for Speaker Villagomez and other members of this House who continue to engage in conversation with us regarding compliance with the constitutional mandate to appropriate PSS 25% of the CNMI's general revenues. Now to address House Bill 24-46. The current draft defines general revenues as a remainder after expenditures, which does not track with the Supreme Court's controlling definition as written in their slip opinion. HB 24-46 understates the base used to compute PSS's 25%, resulting in PSS receiving $13 million less than what the Constitution promises the students of the CNMI. As you know, Article 15, subsection 1E guarantees PSS not less than 25% of the general revenues of the Commonwealth. In their opinion, 2020 MP2, the CNMI Supreme Court stated that general revenues are determined by revenue classification, not by what remains after paying expenses. General revenues not designated special under a source purpose nexus are considered general. To assist us in defining special revenue, the CNMI Supreme Court developed a test to ascertain whether revenues can be identified as special, which includes that the revenue must have a particular purpose as well as a particular source. Additionally, and I quote, "This relationship must be evaluated on a case-by-case basis because the particulars of a revenue source and purpose turns on the unique circumstances of each fund." Further, the Supreme Court stated that suspended earmarks convert to general revenues for that fiscal year. This bill's method for identifying general and special revenues departs from the CNMI Supreme Court's framework by defining general revenue as residual after debt service, transfers, and other obligations. In essence, a post-spending remainder, not a revenue classification. Then PSS's 25% is computed on that remainder, rather than on all non-special revenues, including any suspended earmarks before appropriations. The bill lists total identified budgetary resources as just under $178 million, and then general revenue as just over $127 million, after earmarks, debt service, settlement payments, etc. This translates into PSS receiving only 18%, not the mandated 25%. Now, I realize the job before you, the mountain to climb, is enormous. My colleagues and I have had in-depth and public discussions about what it means to really push for the 25%, including the impact on other critical services such as law enforcement. As an advocate who works with DPS and survivors of both domestic violence and sexual assault that have pending cases at DPS, I understand and have deep compassion for the difficult job before you. Replenishing DPS's overtime fund and increasing salaries for officers should be a priority for all of us. That is not in question. As such, the Coalition, in partnership with CJPA, has applied for grants to benefit DPS. We are not content with simply hoping that revenues will increase, but actively working to find additional funds to fill the gap. And that is the approach I am hoping for here. I know that as a revenue-generating body, you are also working to that end. I hope that we can continue to work together so that we are not trying to decide whether we are complying with the Constitution or funding critical services. I believe we are partners in this effort. We are with you, and we will continue to do what we can to serve our entire community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Podium's still open.
Good morning. My name is Lawrence Camacho. I am the Commissioner of Education for the CNMI Public School System. And I'm here to advocate on behalf of our students and our educators across 20 schools on 3 different islands that equate to about 9,000 students and about 1,200 employees. And I'll start by thanking you for the opportunity to come and speak I had the opportunity also and the pleasure to come and speak a few weeks ago and present our budget for the public school system. And I heard and I listened and I took in the questions, and I hope I answered the pertinent questions that were presented by this body. And here it is now, time for you to debate on what really matters and what to prioritize. But I am asking that you prioritize and invest in our future. The Commonwealth's future lie in the hands of our kids in those classroom spaces where they are learning and thriving for the most part. And in a manner where we are providing the quality education that is mandated by the CNMI Constitution. In Article 15, it speaks of a public good, and this public good being public education afforded to all citizens who are within the age of school, for going to school. And so with that, I commend you with the challenges that you have ahead of you and the debates that you're going to be having, the fruitful conversations and the discussions to really feel and think and believe in the future of our Commonwealth, which is, again, those students that we are teaching. Next week on Tuesday, we begin receiving our students, all 9,000 of them. And we're prepared. We're ready. All of our schools are going to be opening their doors. Our educators are, at this point as we speak, preparing to receive our wonderful students who continue to thrive. And I'll end by saying, and I'm reporting to this body, that if you compare last year's proficiency rating to this year, in 2024 to 2025 school year, the proficiency rating, which is what we assess and the literacy of our kids, improved as a district by 17% on reading, and it improved as a district by 7% on math. And here we are in the early literacy from kindergarten to first grade. When we measure the literacy rates of our proficiency ratings of our students in that category, their proficiency rating is at 71%. All three of those categories are higher than the national average, which means that the investment that this body and this entire government has put into education and prioritized education for the last several years or decades has been a wonderful benefit for our students, and they continue to thrive off of that investment. We're looking forward to your debate and how you would prioritize and invest again in the Commonwealth's future from this day forward in making sure that PSS is provided with the funding that it requires, and that we will continue so that we can continue to provide the quality education. Our teachers expect the best resources, and I advocate on behalf of them to ensure that they are provided with those resources so that they can continue to teach with high quality and provide that quality education to our students so that they can continue to thrive and become the best citizens of our Commonwealth. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Commissioner. Podium's still open.
Good morning to this honorable body. My name is Matthew Brown. I'm here in my capacity as the Acting Director of Courts for the NMI Judiciary on behalf of the Chief Justice Castro and Presiding Judge Naraha. I have here my Budget and Finance Officer, John Villagomez, if you guys have any questions today, but thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Podium is still open for public comments. Okay, sir, go ahead.
Good morning. I'm Ron Smith, the Secretary of the Saipan Chamber of Commerce. This is in regards to Bill 2432 in regards to the transient accommodation tax, which is on today's calendar. Just a brief note in regards to the definition of a booking service. It indicates that such a service shall be defined by their collection of a fee in association with the reservation of accommodation. Some of these services actually have their fee structure based upon subscriptions. So we just want to be careful in our definition and also in the enforcement to ensure that any booking service, regardless of the methodology or mechanism used to collect fees, is included in this so that there's no loophole. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Podium is still open for public comments. All right, looks like there's nothing further. We'll go ahead and proceed down to the third item of the agenda, the adoption of journals, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 3, adoption of journals, we have first day, fourth special session journal dated July 14, 2025.
Thank you, clerk. I recognize the floor leader for the motion to adopt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for the adoption of the following House Journal dated first day, fourth special session journal dated July 14, 2025. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of the journal, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 4, introduction of bills, and I recognize Representative Julie Ogle.
Thank you, Speaker. I would like to officially introduce House Bill number 24-45 to reappropriate $50,000 under Public Law number 21-10, Section 2G for operational expenses of the Office of the Mayor of the Municipality of Rota, pre-filed by myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Julie Ogle. House Bill 24-45 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. I now recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Bill number 24-46, a bill for an act to define and identify general revenues and approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands as identified pursuant to Article 3, Section 9A of the CNMI Constitution as amended, and 1 CMC Division 7 for fiscal year 2026, and make appropriations for the operations and activities of the government of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, its agency, instrumentalities, and independent programs, and to provide budget authority for government corporation for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes. Introduced by myself and several others. And if there is no objection, Mr. Speaker, I ask that we calendar House Bill 24-46 in today's bill calendar. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. And with that request, I'd like to recognize the floor leader for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move to suspend Rule 9, Section 8, referral of bills and resolutions, to place House Bill number 2446, to define and identify general revenues and approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands as identified pursuant to Article 3, Section 9A of the CNMI Constitution as amended, and 1 CMC Division 7 for fiscal year 2026, and make appropriations for the operations and activities of the government of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, its agencies, instrumentalities, and independent programs, and to provide budget authority for government corporations for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes on today's bill calendar. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to suspend Rule 9, Section 8, to place House Bill 24-46 on today's calendar, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready. Okay. All in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you, colleagues. Next, under introduction of bills, I recognize Vice Speaker Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Bill 24-47 to realign the authority and duties of the CNMI Department of Labor and for other purposes. Introduced by myself and 2 others, and still open for additional sponsors. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Speaker. House Bill 24-47 is referred to the Committee on JGO. Next, under House Bill, introduction of House Bills, I recognize Representative Angelo Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Bill 2448 to adjust the 1992 salary cap of executive directors to a 2025 inflation equivalent amount, pre-filed by myself. And thank you.
Thank you, Representative Angelo Camacho. House Bill 24-48 will be referred to the Committees on JGO and Ways and Means. Next, under introduction of bills, I recognize Representative Malcolm Omar.
Thank you, Speaker. Officially introducing House Bill 24-49 to establish the CNMI Next Gen 911 telephone communication system within the CNMI and for other purposes. Introduced by myself, and I welcome everyone else to co-sponsor.
Thank you, Representative Omar. House Bill 24-49 will be referred to the Committee on JGO. Next, under introduction of bills, I recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Bill number 24-50 to authorize a loan between the Commonwealth Government and the Marianas Public Land Trust in the amount of $29 million, and to authorize the Marianas Public Land Trust to withhold and retain net annual distributable income starting fiscal year 2026 for repayment and security of the loan. Introduced by myself and welcome others to co-sponsor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. House Bill number 24-50 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. Are there any other unnumbered bills? I recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Introducing an unnumbered bill, a bill for an act to establish revolving accounts for the Department of Lands and Natural Resources and for other purposes. Introduced by myself and welcome others to co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd like to formally introduce an unnumbered bill, a bill for an act to strengthen current domestic and family violence laws to ensure the protections of women and children, and to recognize and penalize digital and electronic harassment as acts of domestic and family violence and for other purposes. Introduced by myself and open for co-sponsors. Thank you.
Thank you, floor leader. Are there any other unnumbered bills to be introduced? Ready? Okay. Representative John Paul Sablan and floor leader, your bills will be assigned at a later date with bill number and committee assignment. Okay, with nothing further, we now move down to House local bills. Any local bills to be introduced? None? Okay. We'll go ahead and move down to introduction of resolutions, and I recognize Representative Vincent Odan.
Sorry, but I didn't bring my paper with me.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to introduce the House joint resolution. Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. House Joint Resolution 24-7 to encourage Honorable David M. Apteng, Governor of the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas, to declare a proactive resilience emergency declaration to protect the Commonwealth's renewable energy future in light of the approaching federal deadline under the 2025 Big Beautiful Budget Act, known as BBB, and urging all agencies to fast-track renewable energy projects before the opportunity expires.
Thank you, Representative Vincent Audan. And if there's no objection with the author, can we introduce this as a committee of the whole? Any objection?
Thank you.
Author, are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So let the record reflect. House Joint Resolution number 24-7 is now hereby introduced by the Committee of the Whole and will be placed on the resolution calendar, but for action in the next session. Any other resolutions? Unnumbered or ready? All right, thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 6, messages from the governor, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 6, messages from the governor, we have Governor's Communication 2442 to 2450, and added Governor's Communication 2451 and 52.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under messages from the governor? Recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just I want to express my gratitude to Governor Apatang for Governor's Communication 24-42, informing the House that he has signed House Local Bill 24-5 to amend the Saipan zoning law to define automobile sales and services, which became Saipan Local Law 24-06. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank Governor Apatang in regard to Governor's Communication 24-47, informing the House that he signed into law House Bill number 24-1, HS1, to amend provisions in Title VI, Division 1, Part 1, Chapter 3, Sexual Offenses, Article 1, General Provisions relating to sexual abuse and assault of minors, which is now Public Law 24-8. And also on Governor's Communication 24-49, informing the House that he signed into law House Bill number 2419 to rename the CNMI Scholarship Office to the CNMI Scholarship and Financial Assistance Office, which is now Public Law 24-10. Thank you.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Any further discussions under messages from the Governor? Ready? All right. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 7, Senate Communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 7, Senate Communications, we have Senate Communications 2443 to 2448 and added Senate Communication 2449, returning House Concurrent Resolution 242 with SS1.
Thank you, Clerk. And with that, I'd like to recognize the Floor Leader to accept Senate Communications.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move to accept Senate Communications 24-43 to 24-49, and that it be deemed property of the House for further disposition as appropriate. So move.
Thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made to accept Senate Communications so that they become property of the House, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you, colleagues. Under the new Senate Communication 24-49, returning House Concurrent Resolution number 24-2, that will be placed on the resolution calendar, but because it did not make the 72 hours, we'll act on it on the next House session. Okay, with nothing further, we now move down to House Communications. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 8, House Communications, we have House Communications 2446 to 2448 and added House Communication 2449, off-island communication from Representative Sunny Claus.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under House Communications? Ready? All right. We'll now move down to item number 9, Communications from the Judicial Branch. Clerk?
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 9, Communications from the Judicial Branch, we have one item, Judicial Branch Communication 24-4.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under Communications from the Judicial Branch? Ready? All right. Before we proceed to the next item of the agenda, I'd like to refer Judicial Branch Communication 24-4 from Chief Justice Alexandro C. Castro to the Senate President and the Speaker of the House, submitting the proposed NMI Rules of Judicial Disciplinary Procedure, which was submitted on July 29. The deadline for any kind of action is September 27. So again, this goes to the Committee on JGO. We now move down to item number 10, Communications from Departments and Agencies. Clerk?
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 10, Communications from Department and Agencies, we have two items, Department Agency Communication 2414 and 2415.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under Communications from Departments and Agencies? Recognize Representative Ralph Yumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On communication number 2414, I'd like to request the Chairman of Ways and Means to request, or Chairman of SNIO to request from the Secretary's Office the update on the construction tax, because on the report that was submitted, it's still marked as 0, so we're not too sure what's going on with the collections. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Yumo. Any further discussions under item number 10? Ready? Okay. Department and Agency Communication 2414 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means, and 2415 will be referred to the Committee on Commerce. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 11, Miscellaneous Communications. Clerk?
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 11, Miscellaneous Communications, we have one item, Miscellaneous Communication 2448.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under Miscellaneous Communications? Thank you. For Miscellaneous Communication 24-48, I'll refer that to the Committee on Federal and Foreign Affairs for their reference. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 12. We have none. Item number 13, we have none. Item number 14, we have none. Item number 15, resolution calendar. We have two on the calendar, but it will be acted on in the next session. So we move down to item number 16, bill calendar, and I recognize the floor leader.
Mr. Speaker, before I make a motion, can I call for a short recess, please?
Short recess. All right, we'll rise back to session. Before we went on recess, we just entered the item number 16 on the agenda, bill calendar, and with that, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, before offering the motion for passage on first and final reading, I move to suspend Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the suspension of Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move for the passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-32 to establish a tax on transient accommodations and to regulate the operations of short-term rentals in the Commonwealth and for other purposes. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-32, and it has been seconded. Any discussions?
Ready.
Ready? I'd like to call for a quick recess. Quick recess. Rise back to session. Before we went on recess, we were entertaining the motion for the passage of House Bill 24-32. So again, before I call for the vote, any discussions? Ready?
Ready.
Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Vada?
Yes.
Representative Aldan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Benavente? Representative Angelo Camacho?
Yes.
Representative Diego Camacho?
Yes.
Representative Joel Camacho?
Yes.
Representative Joseph Flores?
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Manglonia?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Omar?
Ungan.
Representative Palacios?
Gun.
Representative Rangomar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Hungan.
Representative Yumo? Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 17 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all 17 members present voting yes, House Bill number 24-32 hereby passes the House. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, before offering the motion for passage on first and final reading, I move to suspend Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to suspend Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor for the motion, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I now move for passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-46 to define and identify general revenues and approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands as identified pursuant to Article 3, Section 9A of the CNMI Constitution as amended, and 1 CMC Division 7 for fiscal year 2026, and make appropriations for the operations and activities of the government of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, its agencies, instrumentalities, and independent programs, and to provide budget authority for government corporations for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes. So move.
Second.
Privilege, Mr. Speaker. Can we call a short recess before we
Recognize
act on this bill?
Okay, I recognize your privilege and I'll acknowledge that. Short recess. Rise back to session. Before we went on recess, we were under the bill calendar on House Bill number 24-46, and I'd like to ask the floor leader. We also suspended Rule 7, Section 9, and Rule 9, Sections 9 and 10, which we did adopt that motion, and we are now on the motion for passage, and I would just like to ask the floor leader again to restate that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move for passage on first and final reading on House Bill number 24-46 to define and identify general revenues and approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands as identified pursuant to Article 3, Section 9A of the CNMI Constitution as amended, and 1 CMC Division 7 for fiscal year 2026, and make appropriations for the operations and activities of the government of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, its agencies, instrumentalities, and independent programs, and to provide budget authority for government corporations for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 24-46, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I believe everyone has a floor amendment copy before you, and it's also on the screen. I'd like to offer an amendment to House Bill 24-46 to amend the current text to reflect an amendment as follows. On page 16, line 11, to amend Section 203, suspension of earmarks funds, to read as follows, and to renumber all subsequent subsections accordingly. As you see there, adding those figures and underline, and striking out BMV Fund 9 CMC subsections 2118 and subsections 2119, and to also include a strike through on the word "and" before the developer's infrastructure tax. Also, on page 37, line 13 to 14, to amend Section 709, other programs, to read as follows. Cost reduction, on the words "cost reduction" have been exhausted, period. A minimum of 86 of all PSS funds must be allocated directly to instructional expenditures. Consistent with the intent of the foregoing amendments, I hereby also move to allow legal counsel, together with the House Clerk, to make further non-substantive technical amendments that are strictly necessary to effectuate the intent of this floor amendment prior to transmittal. The legal sufficiency signatures of the House Legal Counsel contained in final engrossed version of bill shall reflect signatures of counsel endorsing the last amendments, if any, unaddressed by the House. So move.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. Floor amendment has been offered by Representative John Paul Sablan, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. All in favor for the floor amendment as offered by Representative John Paul Sablan, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The floor amendment is hereby adopted. We now move back to the main motion, which is now House Bill, for the passage of House Bill number 24-46 HD1. Recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. We gather today with a serious responsibility of passing a budget that will keep our government running and meet the needs of our people. It's not an easy job, but it is one we must do with care and with the understanding that every decision we make affects the lives of our families, neighbors, and friends. As we know, the administration submitted its version of the fiscal year 2026 budget back in April. That proposal remained unchanged, even as our economic situation did not get much better. We owe it to our people to respond to the challenges we face today, and that is what this House budget bill tries to do. In this budget, we made adjustments to free up $29 million from across the Commonwealth so that we can fulfill our obligations to our retirees. These men and women are those ones who built the foundations of our government, our schools, and our infrastructure. They gave decades of service believing their retirement would be there for them. We have a federal court settlement that requires us to fund 75% of our retirees' pension. This is not optional. It is both legal and moral duty. The Apatang administration has shared plans to borrow $29 million from the Marianas Public Land Trust to help meet this obligation. That loan is not yet in place. We cannot wait on something that is not certain. Until the MPLT loan becomes a reality, we need to pass a budget with the resources we have now. We did this by keeping agency at their current fiscal 2025 funding levels. No cuts, no increases, holding steady. We also look at new and vacant positions that were not yet filled and did not fund them this year. That's how we were able to set aside the $29 million without taking away from the essential services our people depend on. This was not easy. Every member of the Ways and Means Committee contributed their ideas and helped make hard choices. We worked together, listened to each other, and what you see here is a result of a bipartisan cooperation. I would like to think that the message we sent to everyone that did not receive the administration's had proposed back in April is not yet, but this is better than saying you will be getting even less. In these times, being careful of our spending is not just a goal, it is something we must do. We have to live within our means while still meeting our most important obligations. I want to sincerely thank all the members of Ways and Means Committee for their hard work and their willingness to make tough decisions. I also thank the staff of the Legislative Bureau for their tireless support during this process. I also want to thank the mayors and staff of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd senatorial districts for welcoming us and supporting our budget hearings on their islands. To our government departments and agencies that participated in the hearings, thank you for your presence and your input. You play an important role in shaping the future of our Commonwealth. To my colleagues, thank you for your dedication and work together to get us to this point. To our retirees, this is our pledge to you that we will honor our commitments. And to the people of the Commonwealth, this budget is built with fairness, responsibility, and respect for every dollar entrusted to us. Today, colleagues, I humbly ask for your support. Let us pass a budget that's not only balances the numbers, but also keeps faith with our people. And at this time, if there's any question, I stand ready to answer to the best of my knowledge. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. Any further discussions under House Bill 2446, HD1? Are we ready, colleagues? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Ada?
Yes.
Representative Aldan? Representative Aquino?
Yes.
Representative Benavente? Representative Angelo Camacho?
Yes.
Representative Diego Camacho?
Yes.
Representative Joel Camacho?
Yes.
Representative Joseph Flores?
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Manglonia?
Yes.
Representative Vogel?
Yes.
Representative Omar?
Hungan.
Representative Palacios?
Again.
Representative Rangomar?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Hungan.
Representative Yumo? Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 17 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all 17 members present voting yes, House Bill number 24-46, House Draft 1, hereby passes the House. Thank you, colleagues. With nothing further, under the bill calendar, the remaining bills, as you see on the agenda, some concerns have been brought up, so those bills will remain on calendar for action in the next session. So with that, we now move down to item number 17, miscellaneous communications, and the floor is open. I'm sorry, miscellaneous business. Recognize Representative Malcolm Omar.
Thank you, Speaker, and also for the referral of my House Bill 24-49. And I just want to submit for the record to the clerk and to the chair of the committee just letters of support that I received since pre-filing, and one from the Emergency Medical Dispatch section of the Guam Fire Department, signed Paul Rolinski, One from the acting R Fire Chief Philip Audon, CPA Saipan, CPA Sinamay. Another letter from Commissioner Fire and EMS Juan Pua, and lastly, a support letter from Defense Assistant Fire Chief Cody Narita. Just for the record, Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Omar. Any further under miscellaneous business, please raise your hands. Floor leader. Representative Roman Beneventi.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. With regards to the distribution of funds, what Representative JP has offered out and we've passed it. I agree to that point, but as far as the definitions of the PSS, I also agree to that it would be a priority for the students and the teachers in the school level. And I know we are challenged with the budget, and I know the intent of the bill is embedded in the budget. So, I mean, the intent of that provision is also embedded in the budget. But I know also that we have a definition to define the 25% provision with regards to PSS as far as the Constitution mandated. I would like to say that we will go ahead with that to make it more, even though it's already in there, we still have to go in there. And I don't appreciate, we have discussed this to Mr. Speaker, that I still have to meet with my members to discuss it with my members about the sensitivity and everything of this PSS. And it's just like, I want to get an assurance from you that we still have to follow this through. This is a constitutional mandate that we're working on. 1812 was my bill that I did 1812, and that's what brings up the 25%. And that's to help the students and the PSS. So I know the sensitivity and the workload that needs to be done with this. You don't just yank it out from the committee or anything like that and gotta give chance to the committee to work on whatever we need to do and get the consensus also of the members. I respect that type of process, and it's you're as a speaker, that's within your authority. So I just want to make sure that is well guarded as far as what we're moving on with this. But I agree with what the budget that we approved today. Other than that, for the definition, we have to make it permanent. But if we can't, then we can always do on every budget year that they request or that we do the budget, we can always insert that based on priorities. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Roman Beneventi. Any further? Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And it's miscellaneous, so I can't get into a debate. But yes, I have to say that this budget bill was a very tedious process in which the Ways and Means chairman, vice chair, and all the members really battled it out on language and intent, purpose, obligation, and that we worked very hard on that bill. My hope is that for future bills, and I know that there's an obligation to the retirees, and that we must abide by that obligation. And I am not saying that we're not going to do that. What I'm saying is that it's an obligation and we must pay it. However, There are other obligations which we need to address. And such obligations are vendor payments that have lasted almost 4 years, 5 years. But most importantly, land compensation. That has been an obligation since time of taking for many of those that are still due rightful payments. Many of them have passed on with no compensation at all provided to them. Many will be passing on just like the retirees. It's the same age group, same people that are wanting by obligation, and the definition of that, their payment as well. So I hope that in terms of what is provided to us by the Constitution and policies that were passed to pay this down, I ask that as members we work towards coming up with new ideas on how to pay this liability, because they are due and they're supposed to be paid down. The design of the Commonwealth was needed to build infrastructure, roads, water wells, and what have you. Lands were taken to accommodate this need to build a Commonwealth. But yet, they've been denied, they've been ignored, they've been underfunded. But I don't want to wait anymore until many of them pass on. And then what do we do? What's our face to those families that waited? The director of DPL or the secretary of DPL just put in a communication last week that there are several individuals, claimants, that are due. And that's in the tune of about $10 million. Now, where do we find that? Right? And who's going to suffer to pay that? But in all fairness, we're all suffering too to pay the retirement and the settlement. So this is another time again where we need to sit and really think who we serve. Because everybody in here in their district and their village and their precinct has someone, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, that are still due their just compensation for land taking to build a Commonwealth. They gave their land to build a Commonwealth, and they still have not been paid. So there's many obligations. Retirees, land comp, businesses, sole proprietors that went into agreements with the Commonwealth. There's a lot. Underfunded DPS, possibly maybe an underfunded judicial, underfunded CHCC, underfunded everything. Because we have one obligation, two obligations actually, that are mandated. The 25% for PSS and the retirees. You add that together, that's almost their entire budget. So what happens? So I just needed to say that. I've been getting a lot of calls because of recent developments on a $2 million SNILE appropriation that was passed, and not one item included land comp. So I had to express that for the sake of those families and individuals in my precinct that are still due land comp. And my job is to advocate for my constituents and the Commonwealth. But this land compensation matter needs to be dealt with, because we're not going to wait for another lawsuit. But if we continue to kick this can down the line, that's exactly what we're going to get. Then that's a obligation mandated and adjudicated by the court. Do we want that? Well, that's something that we should ponder on this weekend. Thank you, Speaker. I yield my time.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Any further under miscellaneous business? Recognize Representative Ralph Yumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our chairman, John Paul Sablan, Ways and Means, for handling the deliberation with fairness to all the agencies. I know not everyone was completely satisfied, but just so the public and our everyone knows that what we're given was a set amount of identified resources, and the job really of the Ways and Means is to split it all apart. None of our members went against a lot of what was proposed by the administration, especially with PSS. We did our very best to try to identify funds, and I believe he introduced the MPLT loan to make up should that come to our table. So it's he handled it pretty well for his first time, and we gave him a lot of hard time, especially certain things, but he handled it really well, and I appreciate that. Also, we have to also put the 25% to rest by having the courts, just like the settlement fund, identify exact amounts, because what we're dealing with right now is just resources that we're trying to collect, and sometimes we don't collect that amount. So we need to have the courts intervene, because a lot of the debt service and other new debt was done way before 18-12. So we need to look at whether that fund should be taken out of the general resources, because the CNMI government entered into a contract with the bond companies, and that is set aside whenever we collect taxes. That first $7 million is set aside right away, because that's our obligation. Now, the settlement fund came later after 18-12, but it went through the court system, and the court defined what we owe to the settlement fund, and that's why every year we set aside. And I know we all know the administration excluded that 29 million, and that's why we had to put it back into the budget and remove everyone or the amounts from the total amount, so that we can satisfy the lawsuit. So we addressed that. I think every member agreed to it, and when the debt or the MPT loan comes into play, maybe we can restore back most of those funds back to PSS, and they can continue with their programs. And the committee also ensured that the teachers and the schools remain open by ensuring that the funds that are given to them go straight to the teachers, and that would prevent closures of schools or reduction of hours. So we want to make sure that the teachers are at least protected. Other than that, I think we still have to identify what's the definition of general resources versus general revenue, so that needs to be addressed soon. And with that, I yield my time. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Yumo. Recognize Leader Adda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to thank all my colleagues for supporting House Bill number 24-32, authored by myself and Rep. Julie Olgo. This bill actually was introduced by our late Congressman, Ivan Blanco, reintroduced by our former Congressman, Angel de Mapan, then introduced again by Rep. Julie, and then at this legislature we introduced it. This bill actually would would kind of uniform the hotel occupancy tax and realize some of the monies that were circumventing the whole hotel occupancy tax system. So again, colleagues, thank you. I know this is going to be a work in progress. We have to work with our counterparts in the Senate, and hopefully we can get this out and implement it so that finance, commerce can start working together to put together some policies as to how to go about collection and monitoring these activities. So thank you, Ayu.
Thank you, Representative Roy Adda. Any further under miscellaneous business? Recognize Representative Vincent Odan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, first off, I just wanted to thank the governor for signing the House Bill. The Public Law 24. What was that? 24-11, right? And I know some people don't understand really what transpired on trying to come up with that number, but I just wanted to let the people understand, because I did get some frustrating comments from our people, and I totally understand. And one of those comments were, why don't we just pay all the bill? Just get rid of it, pay it all off, and call it a day, and get rid of the fact. So let me just put out the numbers of why we didn't. And in order to save, to get this budget through and whatnot, because even I have my synapses in my brain were working overdrive, just trying to punch up these numbers. And if we were to do what the public actually really wanted, we do want it too, but it's unreasonable, unrealistic. Because if we look at the numbers, right, as of July 31st, 2025, the whole government owes in arrears $77.4 million. And the budget that, we came up with everything, all the money that's collected and all the money that's left over after paying off all the, payment for PSS retirees, that's 133 million. Now, if we actually exercise the choice of, paying off the arrears just so that we could get rid of the fact, that'll be 57.8% of the whole entire budget. If we do that, then this paying for the retirees would be off the table, first responders off the table, school off the table. So just to make the people understand the reason why, as much as we would love to pay off the arrears for utilities so that nobody keeps looking at the fact rate on your, God forbidden, utility bill, that's the reason why we cannot just, do a shock treatment and pay off the utility bill. The numbers do not match what we want to do. We have to take care of everybody, not just one thing. So we prioritize. Do we want to pay the retirees? Yes, we do. Do we want to keep the police functioning? Yes, we do. Do we want the hospital to keep operating? Yes, we do. Do we want to give the PSS their funding? Yes, we do. So we have to make a hard choice. We cannot pay the $77.4 million right off the bat. So I hope that that the public do read the bills, and if you should have any questions, comments, or concern, we're all open to answer it. We're all working together, and it is not a walk in the park, but I'm pretty sure your representative will be more than willing to help explain. We don't like it as much as you do, but it's what we have to work with. And that's it. I yield my time.
Thank you, Representative Vincent Aldan. Recognize Representative Roman Beneventi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't want to be remiss. I would like to extend my gratitude to the Chairman of Ways and Means also. he has done, I think, a tremendous job as far as putting us together and setting us up. Open collaboration with the budget office also, and also with PSS. So, in line with all the challenges that we're facing forward, he is very adamant in making sure that we come into a spreading ground, meaning we have an equal cut on as much as we can as far as the budget is concerned. It's not a laughing matter because you know what? It's a hard times right now. We're having hard times right now. And you can be laughing, but I'll tell you something. It's not easy for everybody. It's the way the budget is right now. It's like when you have your house and you have to look at your priorities and you spend where you spend more best fit. And that's what we have right now. That's the challenge what we have within this government right now. Whose fault it is, I won't blame anybody. But we're here, so I just like to say to all of you guys that took part in this budget, thank you to all of you guys. Because we all put this thing together. And we try to do the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Benavente. Representative Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to thank Chairman John Paul, my colleague, for rising to the occasion of the Ways and Means. And I wanted to be in this committee, but taza kampu. So, Chairman, if you have opening, I'm willing and able to serve. I know that all good things always start in Precinct 2. Right, colleague? And then if anybody out there in the public want to move to Precinct 2, we got a lot of apartment rentals that are very affordable. And John Paul and myself, we're working hard together also with the mayor, cleaning our village. And I want us to also reach out to the Senate, you know, that this rising crime from repeat offenders is really concerning. And my bill is still stuck in the JGO. So please, you know, let's work together to expedite some of our bills that are on hold in the JGO. Thank you. I use my time.
Thank you, Representative Aquino. Any further under miscellaneous business? Anybody want to move to Precinct 2? Raise your hand. I'm just kidding. Any further? Okay, we'll now move down to item number 18, announcements. Any announcements? Recognize Representative Joel Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd just like to thank all the members that donated some water for the upcoming Soroki Fiesta on Sunday. And on behalf of Rep. Omar and myself, I'd like to invite you all to our fiesta. It's the 75th anniversary for the San Roque Parish. Thanks again.
Time and what's the time for the fiesta and the date?
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Sunday, right?
Yes, Sunday.
Okay. Any further under announcements? I recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to announce to the members of the Committee on Ways and Means that I'm calling for a committee meeting on Tuesday, 9:30 in the morning, so that we can deliberate on the remaining referred bills that are in the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. Any further? Recognize Representative Joel Camacho.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just wanted to respond that we will be calling a JGO meeting too sometime next week. All the bills that are supposedly stuck there, we'll try to get them out. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Joel Camacho. Representative TJ Manglonia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And just a reminder to the community that there will be this August 17th and 18th, Sunday and Monday, Eastside Cuts and Cagman will be offering free haircuts to the kiddos for back to school. So if you know any kids that are in need, please send them over. And I would like to thank my colleague, Representative Angelo Camacho, again, for collaborating with Eastside Cuts and making this happen for our kids. So thank you.
Thank you, Representative TJ. Representative Ada.
I also like to announce that Precinct 1 has also collaborated and putting together a free haircut for all back to school this Sunday at San Vicente Hairmate Barbershop. Please come on, bring your kids so that they can get a haircut starting at 9. Yeah, Vice, thank you. 9 a.m. In Precinct 1, everybody's welcome. Thank you.
East side, south side, where do we go, right? Any more under announcements? Ready? Ready. All right, Representative Julie Ogo for another haircut announcement. I'm just kidding. Rep. Julie?
Yes, actually, it's coming up next month in Rhoda. It'll be more expensive to fly down for that. But anyways, I just want to also invite, the people of the Sinai to our Sweet Potato and Coconut Festival that's happening next Friday on the 22nd. We have a lot of exciting activities going on and a lot of delicious food. And so you only have to fly in to eat that. We won't export any more of that. But, I do want to, invite all of you, if you can, please join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Julie Ogo. Any further under announcements? Ready. Ready? All right. We'll now move down to adjournment. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I move that the House stand adjourned, subject to the call of the chair. So move.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for adjournment and it has been seconded. Any discussions?
Ready.
Ready? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Session's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.